Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, before I take off, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, Bahasham Yahawashi, and double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well, teach well through the Spirit. A mighty shalom to the hopeful elect that are scattered four corners of the earth, teaching His word and believing in His word in the same Spirit. Lord willing, as a whole, that you all continue in sound doctrine. And shalom to the Akwath, the sisters of His faith and His truth. Lord willing, that you continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent and virtuous wife. And Lord willing, this is an edifying lesson and inspiring through the power and spirit of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Lord willing, it's quick, straight to the point. Just leaving the gym. And the last thought that came to mind is how special, how blessed, and how lucky the Israelites are to have Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi for them. We're not, of course we hear multiple nations, people speaking on the Hebrew Israelites. You even got Israelites trying to defend, saying that the Lord is for the other nations too, But Jake, you really have no understanding on how blessed and lucky you are. He always call you by name, right? He always say that he's the God of Israel. It's a different, we are Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi's possession, right? Getting this classic, but real quick, out of all nations, Yahawah chose Israel. Yahawah did not choose everyone equally. He separated Israel from the world. That's why when you go to St. John 17, when Yahawah say, they are not of the world. Even though we know, through the Spirit, Yahawah is speaking of the elect. Those that truly come into faith, they're not of the world. But the nation of Israel, as a whole, is really not of this world. The Israelite, Salaki, on behalf of Adam, the Israelites are really supposed to be immortal. The Lord made the nation of Israel different, right? Not because we're the most, but this is Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter, verse 6, a classic verse. For thou art a holy people unto Yahawah thy power, and Yahawah thy power have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So he made you special above all people, right? We don't have to play semantics. You don't got to get too deep. Very plainly, if we was to put all the nations together, if we was to look at the descendants coming out, those chosen men that the Lord selected to be the head of a nation, like the descendants of Japhet, the Lord handpicked where, the descendants from Japhet that's sprout out in their land, who's going to be what, who's going to be who. So and over time, the identity of nations, of course, got removed, right? But it was all the Lord's doing because the children of the Lord were supposed to have that devotion, that delight to seeking the knowledge, the hidden information that the Lord hidden, okay? Why people always asking, well, why you gotta go into a book? Because the Lord knew history. He knew the times that we were going to live in, that the only proof we got, first, it starts with faith. First, before you pick up the Bible, you must have faith, right? Seeing people saying that the Bible is not about nations. You're bugged out. Then you want to say anybody can be Israel. They just got to be spiritual Israel. The Bible doesn't promote or push that, right? You have to first, by faith, right, believe that you are the children of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. First by the flesh, by nation, right? But faith is the thing that moves you in this thing, right? Because if you can have faith all you want, but say you're not reading, you're not trying to understand the history, right? You want to have faith in what you're reading. You want to have faith that the Lord set this all up, right? Where people say, you got to give evidence. The Lord gave us spiritual evidence, which is his divine word, okay? So let me go to this next verse. To this next precept. We can go to Deuteronomy, the 4th chapter, in verse 7 to 8. And this is what it reads. It says, "For what nation is there so great, who have the Most High so nigh unto them, as Yahawah our power is in all things that we call upon him for? And what nation is there so great, that have statutes in judgment so righteous as all this law, which I set before these this day?" In the NLT, verse 7, "For what great nation has a God as near to them as Yahawah our power, as near to us whenever we call on him? And what great nation have decrees and regulations as righteous and fair as this body of instructions that I am giving you?" What nation? What nation is compared to us, man? The Lord, when you go to Amos, the 3rd chapter, he has an intimate relationship with Israel. There's no excuses. Okay? This is a reason why, for you children, you Israelites, for you being blessed, the Lord understood the times. Yeah, you'll be distracted with social media, the internet, money, jobs, bad bitches, thick women, drug dealers. All these things is a distraction. But one thing he left that can actually get you to move right. How would you know about mortifying the flesh? People say, I let the Lord talk to me. I don't have to read a book, right? This is how the Lord understood that if somebody really had faith, they would accept the written documents. But of course, you're going to have to decipher, because we're speaking in English. When you look at the Bible, you have to understand the New Testament was translated from Greek. So it's certain times when you getting into that doctrine, sometimes you're going to have to go to the Greek etymology of certain words. Then, even with the Old Testament, you're going to have to go to certain etymology for the Hebrew word. When you start to do that, right, by faith, right, faith is going to move you, right, because of the Spirit of the Lord always searching the deep things. Israel, when you actually make the initiative to actually search, actually listen and shut up, you're going to find out how blessed, right, how blessed, how lucky you are. Right? The Lord really left these scriptures for you to find. Right? Let me get the classic. At every camp, every brother that say they claiming in this faith, they bringing out this precept. This is Psalms 147 with the last two verse 19 and 20. It says, "He showeth his word unto Jacob." Now we know the word is Yahawashi. Right? Yahawashi is the word. Yahawashi said he comes in a volume of the book. So the word from Genesis to 2nd Maccabees, Genesis to Revelation, he showed his words unto Jacob. This is another argument which makes it plain. The argument is no point. When you look at 2nd Ezra, the 3rd chapter, verse 34 and 35, it tells you that the Heavenly Father's name is only found in Israel. Right? You don't see no heathen anywhere saying the name of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, saying it boldly, but you can hear him saying Yahweh, Yeshua, right? The name is secretive and it's only for the children of Israel, man. And only the elect. When we look at Sirach, the 17th chapter, verse 10, right? The elect praise his holy name, right? They're confessing the name of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. It's so amazing to know in Isaiah 52, verse 6, when you read the KJV and NLT, he says his name would be manifest to his people. Manifest mean revealed. His name was revealed unto us. Brothers had to get the Rakak Wadash to move you to search these things. Because when you really look at the name of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, that's not something that just fall in your lap. You have to really be an investigator, like Scooby-Doo, and look. You got to search for these mysteries. Right? And it's not for everyone. Right? Let me just see if somebody says something in the comment board. Oh, okay. Right? How blessed are we, man? When you really sit down, even though we suffering, we in a time of mourning, right? But when you go to let me go to my other Bible app real quick. I'm gonna go to the prayer of Azariah, which is in Apocrypha. Let Let me get that. The prayer of Azariah, going to verse 4, it says, "For thou art righteous in all the things that thou hast done to us. Yet true are all thy works. Thy ways are right in all thy judgments, truth. In all the things that thou hast brought upon us, and upon the holy city of our fathers, even Jerusalem, thou hast executed true judgment. For according to truth and judgment didst thou bring all these things upon us because of our sins." Now, when we sit back and really think about it, when you got to go into history to understand, okay, who sinned, who transgressed the laws of the Lord? Because you have to understand why, or what made us get to the point of Yahawashi. Yahawashi coming on the scene. What brought us to that point? Because we sinned. We turned away from Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, and in the ancient world, the Israelites had to make a sacrifice unto the Lord, right? Especially when you look at the Day of Atonement. That always go back to the Israelite history. For you to fully understand why the Son of Man fully came, you have to go into the history and understand the real reason why he had to come. And with Yahawashi, the children of Israel get to come back to the Heavenly Father and have a perfect relationship, because they're going to be reconciled to the Father through the advocate. The advocate is Yahawashi. Yahawashi is the lawyer. Yahawashi is the mediator. He's the insurance. He's the insurance to know we have a ticket to get to the Father. But you know, St. John 6:44, unless the Father draw you to the Son, and Yahawashi raise you up in these last days, right? It's really the Lord, the Lord got you in the hand. So he's the one that draw you to the Son. No free will. You can't get to the Son without Yahweh drawing you. And you can't get raised up without Yahawashi. And he's doing it spiritually, symbolic to Yahawashi. Yahawashi died, but it was the spirit, the Rakakwadasha of Yahweh, that rose him up. So it's the quickening spirit that enters us, and it makes us alive, right? Most Jake that come in the truth, they be like, man, I feel different. Like 2 Chainz, I'm different, right? Why are we feeling different? It's because the spirit of life. You understand? Wait, hold on. We gotta get that precept real quick. Why do we feel different? Right? Let's get that. St. John, the 6th chapter, verse 63. Sorry, cops up here. Stop somebody. This Isaiah 6 verse 63. And it's the spirit that quickeneth, right? The spirit that made us alive. The flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. Coming in this faith, you have to grow spiritually. When you look at the truth as a whole, it's spiritual. Yes, you got literal things that's taking place, but this whole truth is spiritual. In order for you to come in this truth, you have to be, the spirit has to be upon you. A quickening spirit. What does it do? It makes you alive. You start to live again. This is why you feel different, right? Because those that's in the world that's not cleaving to the truth, they don't know what different is like. So what they do, they lean on to money. Like, brothers, especially in Great Millstone, they keep it raw. Most brothers on this side, mainly our relief in this world is busting a nut or looking at a beautiful woman. But then you got other feelings, getting money, having a business, your family eating, right? But when you come in this truth, thinking about, of course, you as a man, you're going to still think about those things. But when you come in this truth, you look how little it is, right? You got to go this hard to impress a woman. And even if you get a woman in this faith, right, you could be a man of the Lord, but you still need more. Like, I watched this video of this sister, my second wife, she was saying how dumb that girl was. This girl, she had the perfect husband. He was around her when she got afflicted with a sickness, a disease, right? And she had to be in the hospital. He was with her day in and day out. When she got healthy, now she out the hospital, she said, she asking these people, how can I get back to actually feeling love? Because like now I don't feel like I'm worthy. Like I don't feel like I'm deserving. Like I don't feel like this man loved me anymore, or I don't feel like I got anymore. And then they looking at her like, are you kidding me? The man gonna say a man is gonna do he's gonna do the most. He's gonna lay at your deathbed. He's there. He's building you up. But now when you get healthy, she want to go outside. She want to do that. Well, I want to go out. I want to be seen, but I don't feel like I'm loved, like I don't feel like I'm it anymore, like in his eyes. And they looking like, yo, this man said at you at your deathbed, you, if you was to say this to him, you might, she said, I was bringing it up, she said, you might lose your man. It's like, don't you know this man needs some time? He just had to sit with you in this. Now he got to rebuild himself up. How selfish. Coming in this truth, you got women, some women coming in this truth, I want a man of rank. This is what me and Yahawah was speaking about. It's a brother that was saying, he was speaking about me at a point, saying that I fell off. He said, man, you used to be a mighty brother because now I'm not posting on social media. And I guess I'm with Great Millstone, whatever. But he just came out. It just came out that he was laying with a sister that was just married with somebody in the truth. She got a baby father, a so-called husband in the truth. And she told this same man that she's with that she, top a dude off while being in the truth, and they're not together. Okay? She topped the dude off, and she's not even together with that dude anymore. And then you got certain congregations, not going to say a name, SOT, they believe that you can let a girl top you off but have no dealings with her. Now, it's different. I know our nation is a daughter's generation, but you making a whore out of a daughter of Israel, regardless, if you know you ain't gonna be with her, but you letting her top you off. Jake still don't know how special they is, man. Right? The Lord gives us orders and instructions how we supposed to move. Right? Yeah, you hear brothers speak about women, but brothers got order, brothers got discipline, brothers got control. The number one thing that happened to most men in his faith is that brothers, so like I gotta change this. That some brothers can lose that fire. Some brothers can lose that fire, for this ministry dealing with a woman, right? Brothers can lose that fire dealing with a whole woman. This is why this is a lesson for me too. Every situation you deal with, like the brother Yarmayan and many brothers, when you got these fucking Edomites or people at your job, at the end, like Yarmayan said, you still gotta have discipline while you at work. I'm not about to fight. Man, we coming here to work. I'm coming here to provide. You gotta always have it in your mind how blessed you are. When we at the gym, I'm hearing some people speak about government stuff, and I'm over here saying like they don't even know what the hell is going on, right? Hey, your family, your wife might want to do all of this, but your mind's somewhere else. You're like, I don't want to. And, I want to go out. I want to do some fun. I want to do this every week. Something like a lot of us don't even know what we going through, right? Finances is not the same, right? Like the hippie yippee parade is not the same anymore, man. Now that you got this truth, what's the end result? Like the lesson I did yesterday. The end result is getting the kingdom, man. Right? So when bills is paid, you only got a few dollars, you want to go do something. I always think like, man, I'm over here living somewhat check to check, even if I'm saving. Man, we're not supposed to be living like this. Come outside, you see beautiful women. It's cold as hell. These women half fucking naked. They look good. You be like, man, all they need is a man of the Lord and get order. Then you hear a girl on social media saying, look, I'll rock with a man in whatever his endeavors is. But don't tell me what to wear, man. Accept me how you see me. I looked it good, so accept me how I am. But don't try to come and try to change something. Are you kidding? America has to be destroyed. The number one thing, like a brother just posted on YouTube, he said a lot of y'all don't know your comfort is in the scriptures. Right? I read this verse last night. Right, let me get this. See, I got to go to the physical Bible because I can't remember it off heart. Right? Going to Maccabees. I think the 15th chapter. Got to go to it, man. Got to know. Whatever problems you're dealing with, financially, mentally, spiritually, this is what you got to lean on. This is 1 Maccabees chapter 12, verse 9. Therefore, we also, albeit we need none of these things, that we have the holy books of scriptures in our hands to comfort us. This is your comfort, man. This is your comfort, right? Your wife nagging you, this is your comfort, right? You want to get away, you want to breathe, hey, this is your comfort, right? hard time at work, right? Health problems, right? The scriptures your comfort, right? Things that you're dealing with. When you think about scriptures, hey, say if you might not want to read, you get to pray. Sometimes if whatever thought in my mind, even if I'm not dealing with anything, when that prayer is a relief. You got it off. I'm telling the Lord my problems, and you let go and let Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi work. Everything that pertains to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi is your comfort, man. Everything that deals with Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi is your comfort. I feel the most happiest. I'm just being honest. The most happiest when I come across my brothers or the men of the Lord, or say if I'm chilling in the crib and I get a notification, a brother comment a video or share the video, any other faith, that gives me the most comfort, right? Men that's thinking the same way. You got sheep coming in this thing, trying to better their thoughts, right? I feel comfort, man. Things that pertain to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. When I go to work, of course I'm thinking of work. I'm like, man, fuck this job, man. You know, but I gotta do it, gotta provide, get on my thinking cap. Then I hear a brother like, man, yo, man, you see what Trump doing? Man, this shit is crazy. And then I'd be like, man, call Allah Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. They don't even know what's going on. And that give me a smile. Then it make me think like, yo, what lesson I should bring out? Just cause of that, man. Yo, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi always around. Like soon as I yesterday slept all day, I'm like, man, what lesson am I gonna bring up when I get up? Now, you could just open up the Bible and get into anything, but in my mind, I'm like, damn, man, what I'm going to bring out? So I started reading. Before I even read, while I was sleeping, I said, man, I think I got to do a lesson on Matthew the 15th chapter where speaking about, you know, what comes in, what comes out of you defiles you. And in my mind, I'm like, man, I should, but I don't think I should. Man, I get up to do my reading. The next chapter I got to read in the gospel was Matthew 15. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. While I'm reading it, of course, right before I think about doing a lesson, I go on TikTok. Some Christian or somebody bringing up saying the Lord was kind of referencing the law, that basically pork that go in you, it don't defile you. I'm like, wait, what the hell? And I'm like, yo, this is the second or third time give me an indication that I got to do this lesson. I got comfort just thinking on the Lord. I got comfort on just thinking in my mind what lesson I'm gonna do. Then see this, and then I see that. Then it inspired me to do a lesson. I felt good off of one lesson. Then I'm like, okay, damn, man, well, what else? Then I read something else. Then I got inspired with another lesson. Then I'm like, dang, the end goal, man. What is the end goal? The end goal is the kingdom, man. What is on your mind? The end goal, man. That's why every day you have to be diligent. If you don't know how blessed you is, you're not going to be diligent, man. If you don't know how blessed you are, you're not going to be diligent. So look, no other nation had the Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi's laws. No other nation had his prophets. No other nations had his covenant. No other nation had his presence. When we look at the tabernacle or the temple, right? Even now, the spiritual temple, right? Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi is only dwelling with the Israelites. Yes, his spirit can fall on other nations for his purpose. That alone shows Israel is extremely blessed. So when we look at Romans chapter 9, verse 4, this is Romans chapter 9 and verse 4. We start at 3. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Hamashiach for my brethren, my kinsmen according to flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption, in the glory, in the covenants, in the giving of the law, in the service of the Most High, and the promises. All of those things belong to the Israelites. Even if we, let's say if we don't want to argue with people that don't get it, let's just sit there and reminisce how blessed we are that this all belongs to us. So really, when we speak about Yahawashi, brother or sis that's coming in the faith, that's in the faith, Yahawashi is for you. What they say, Fubu, for us and by us. Yahawashi is for you. Okay? I'm just looking at this comment. The brother said, I just want to believe things that are true. So do you feel your belief is useful or truth? It's not really that I feel. I know that the truth is both useful and truth. Useful, just like how I said, you could be dealing, if you really believe in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, you could be dealing with things mentally. And if you really connected to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, you could really read, like David, he went through certain things, but he still held on Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. He held on to his integrity. So you read certain things like that, it gets you through. This man was getting pursued to be killed. A lot of us is living a life and you ain't getting, nobody's trying to kill you. Yes, Edomites, but you don't feel that threat just like David. Okay, but you could still use that account. My little affliction is light, but look how David still held on. Even when he was overwhelmed, he didn't know what to do. He called on Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. In good moments, right, he still called on Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Daniel, bad moments, still called on Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Right, David, he had problems with his wife because he over here dancing because he got the Ark of the Covenant. She thinking about women. And she jealous over a whole women that David not even thinking about. But because you said this, guess what? I bet you if I go dance, I bet you they gonna honor me. Walked away, went to go dance in front of these women, and guess what? The same wife that opened up her damn mouth, she didn't have no child. So you get to learn for yourself, like especially when you come in this faith, you are, if you are a man of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, you might go through things in your household, your wife or your wives, through the spirit. You gotta understand who you is. And just because our women act a certain way, I'm not about to, man, let me beat her. You know what? Let me just leave her for every situation. This woman is going to be able to see how you endure with her bullshit. Man, how do you do it? Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. That's going to humble a woman to really let her know she's not really serious about Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Because if she was, women fully would try to play their role now. Right? Women, I can't wait to the kingdom, so it would be no jealousy. You're supposed to be trying your best to apply what you learn on earth. Make yourself worthy. That's how we know this thing is truthful in marriage, to be a man, to be a wife, to be a child, to have faith. The whole Bible is useful and it's truth from beginning to end. You just have to decipher, right? Why should I believe this God exists? I mean, I'm not here to prove that you should believe, right? Because if you don't got faith, you can't be persuaded, you know? But why should you believe is because Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi is the same reason why people believe and don't believe, right? Let me get this. Let me just get this classic. This Isaiah 66:4. Isaiah 66:4. It says, I also will choose their delusion and will bring their fears upon them, because when I called, none did answer, and when I spake, they did not hear. But they did evil before my eyes and chose that in which I delighted not. Most of every Jake that's not in his faith, your heart is somewhere else. You have a delight in the things of this world or the things that you do. So for any one of us to say, why should I believe, or how can you prove that God is real? It should show that spiritually you don't have a delight, right? Because there's nothing that you read in the scriptures or heard in the scriptures that prove to you Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi is real. Most people that ask that question, how should I believe? Can you show evidence in this? A lot of us, we want solid proof, physical proof that Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi is real. But guess what, Jake? The Lord is the one that knows your heart. Somebody can have physical evidence right now, and they show you that, you're going to still want more. It's the same example that I just said about women. You do all this and do this, and then it's still not enough. Jake, that's why Israel is considered a woman. Jake, Israel, you are considered a woman. And we do the same things women do. You satisfy them with all of this, the next day, I want more. It's not enough. Right? Mentally, sexually, it's not enough. Right? It's like when you get into a relationship, no, whatever you do, most likely it's not enough. Because if it was enough, women wouldn't even frustrate their mind on something too much. They would just be happy with enough. Just like men. We're not satisfied. Look, I'm over here. I like my car. I love that car too. But I want to upgrade. Yo, this place about to be destroyed. You know what? I've been building my credit. I want another. I just got this car, but I want another one. I know this place about to be done, but I want another one. Yo, we can never be satisfied enough. I want more. Right? It's the same with one woman. That you can have that. That's part of the law. If you can handle it, you can have more. I want more. One is not enough. One woman is not enough. I need more. Jake, we can't be satisfied. But even though I'm saying you can't be satisfied, in your life, is everything spiritual? Is your marriage spiritual? How you raising your children, is it spiritual? Right? Is your day-to-day, Monday through Saturday, month to month, is it spiritual? Year by year, feast, is it spiritual? Are you growing? Are you adding? The same way in this world, I want this, I want that, is the same way spiritually you should be wanting more of Yahawah, because you're blessed. All of this is for you. All of this is for you. It's for the taking, but you have to want it. If you know you're blessed and you're lucky, you have to want it. To want it means to mortify, right? Put to death, right? If you say you don't got faith in the Lord, oh, I need to see him, you got to mortify that shit. You got to come in this thing like a babe, right? Let me get that, right? Why would it say come as a babe? Because children, their imagination, baby children are easily they're the example of easily swallowing up information. So like y'all, I'm just trying to get certain points. I think this is the one that we want. Matthew 18:3, it says, "And said, Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted." To convert, you have to change. So if you believe, if you're like you don't have faith, you have to convert that. So now, when you come into this knowledge, throw away everything you learn. Oh, I can't do that. Then that means you don't want to understand. I had to throw away what I was taught. If this is the truth, I can't come in this thing trying to contradict. How you gonna contradict shit you don't know? You haven't really went in depth. Oh, I read the whole Bible. Okay, let me ask you this question on this chapter. What this going to? Oh, I gotta read it first. You just said you read the whole book. Okay, let's go to Ezekiel 37. When did this get fulfilled? When this happened? Oh, I don't really know. So what's the point of you saying you read the whole Bible? The whole point is to understand. So that if you don't understand what faith is, just ask, wait, how do you have faith in the Lord? Let somebody teach you. Go read the verses, and then now through the Spirit, Lord willing, you're persuaded. Oh, I still don't think that I have faith. The Lord, it's layers to this thing, man. Okay? So it said, except ye be converted, you have to change and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Why little children? Because not saying it's easy to manipulate a child, but it's easy to mold them. Why would Proverbs, 22:6, train up a child in the way they should go? Yes, they're speaking about our children, but when you come into faith, you are a child, right? Damn near 8 years before I got in this truth, I was a child. So I had to not, hurry, wait, hold on. I remember this. First, when you first ask a teacher, like, yo, I was taught this, I was taught that, get it off your chest and then allow that teacher to answer all the situations you have. Why would the people of Berea do this? They were taught and raised a certain way. So what they did through the Spirit. Acts, the 17th chapter, in verse 10. It says, And the brethren immediately sent away Paul and Silas by night into Berea, who coming thither went into the synagogue of the Jews. These were more noble than those of Thessalonica, in that they received the word with all readiness of mind, and searched the scriptures daily whether those things were certain. So they had a readiness mind to just hear. You don't hear them going against, hey, Paul, Silas, no. How can you hear a conclusion if you're ready to rebuttal? Then you bring up something else, then they got to go somewhere else. Let's just deal with this topic. That's the number one thing with Jake. Be slow to speak, even if you think you know or you don't know. If you don't know this whole breakdown, shut up. How can you know you blessed? How can you know you lucky? How can you know Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi is only for you? Sometimes you could just, if somebody got that can comprehend, sometimes a brother can read one verse and you get it. Everybody's not like that. Sometimes you got to bring out 10 verses. You got to go to the Apocrypha. You got to go to the New, so that people can see all around. You can understand the Lord don't change. He was dealing with Israel from the old, from the Apocrypha in the New. Somebody that got common sense be like, wow, damn, you show me the old and the new. Damn, that makes sense. The Lord only dealing with Israel. But then Jake want to, oh, no. How do they want to go all, you want to defend, shit you can't even explain. Right? It's Jake in the world. You speak about the Lord. Oh, God, for God so love everybody. You try to show him. Let's read the beginning. Who was Yahawashi speaking to? Oh, that doesn't matter. But then you understand Okay, what does the word world mean? Oh, the world. But that's a Greek word. It means universe. It goes into government. Oh, I don't think you got to go that deep. This is not really deep, but you have to understand how the Bible was written in old time was translated from another language. So if you really want the truth, you have to investigate. The Lord didn't make this easy, but when you come into faith, it actually is easy. But this is hard. You know how hard it is for Jake to shut up? Jake, you in order to know you blessed, you have to hear somebody bring it out. And then go get your pen, get your phone, and then go reread what somebody said. It's not the soon as I bring it up is the end all be all. Who am I? I ain't nothing. So you got to go get your Bible. You don't got one? Download the app and go read the same verses I brought. Why would he say this? He went to this verse and that verse. It should make you go read the covenants. It should make you go read directly who the law was given to. Okay? To go find out, why would this man say we're blessed? Why would this man say that the children of Israel is God's chosen people out of all nations? What would cause him to say that? The scriptures. Stop being lazy and get your ass up and go decipher it. Okay? Just got to read this point. The brother said, shouldn't we only worship a being that we have proof exists and not just stories that no one has proven? Literally every religion operates that way. We need to do better as humans. First and foremost, scripture-wise, 1 Thessalonians 5:21, he says, prove all things and hold fast to which is good. In the ancient world, going into Moses, the Lord had the law written on stone. And over time, it went to pyrex, animal skin, clay, parchment paper, and then it fully got printed on paper in 1455. The Lord set this up because the proof was the scriptures. It wasn't just word of mouth. Without the scriptures, how would you really know that this happened? Some people want physical evidence, right? And then that means everybody that believe in the Bible has to go to Egypt. They have to go to Israel. You got to go this and go here. You got to get all the... Most of you, Jake, don't even have money or time to go do those things. The Lord made it easy by a book. The number one thing in the world, and I say this on many lives, the number one thing every man and every woman do is read. To get a job application, you got to read. Stop having semantics and thinking that you're tricky. In order to pay a phone bill, in order to get a house, you still got to sign paper. You got to read. To do your income taxes, you got to read, man. Literally. So the Lord to give us proven evident document, it's the word. But in order for you to just read this thing and believe it, you got to have faith. And it's only predestined to those that believe. I can't make nobody believer. The only evidence we can bring is the Bible, let alone you can see the Lord's creation daily. It's no other religion that's teaching about prophecy of how we got to where we at, except for truly Hebrew Israelites. Right? And just that with that spirit, the Lord puts you in a dead estate. Revelations 11:8. So I can't make you get it. Every verse, every history point I give you, how can America say Rome ruled this way, and they used to have senates and republic and Democrats in Rome? You go to the Bible, it teach you the same thing. Right? Y'all want some magical stuff, but the Lord gave you history. Did the Persian Medes rules? Yes. But you go in the scriptures, it makes it plain that they ruled. It shows biblically. But even more, why is it there? Because the Israelites was servants under them because they sinned. They turned away from the Lord. The Bible, this whole truth is faith-based. If you don't got faith, this is not for you, mister. Can't people be wrong when following faith? So how can we use faith as a measure of truth? It doesn't seem like we can. Yes, you can, right? Because faith, you have to look at it as a mustard seed. It's very small, but it can grow into the strongest tree, right? The Lord never told you to go. There's no verse in the Bible where the Lord say, go to the Red Sea. There's no verse where the Lord say, go to Egypt to prove that you're Israelite. You know, over time, lands and certain things decay. But we could go into Egypt and understand that a lot of things was cut out, like the nose and the certain statues, they cut them out because even the Egyptians was black. Okay, let's get this, because this brother is saying that you don't got faith, so there's really no point for you, brother. This is Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. I never seen Moses split the Red Sea, but I believe it's possible. Why? Because when Moses split the Red Sea, he didn't do it himself. It was all by the power of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, which was given to him, which you read in Exodus. Prophets prophesying, especially if they're true prophets, prophets can't be sent unless Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi sent them. Plain as day. In the ancient world, when a prophet came to pass, it was either dealing with affliction, prophesying of the future, or judgment, right? In the same time, we have a sign now where the Lord is bringing forth prophets to prophesy the downfall of an empire, right? So I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to read Jeremiah. Hebrews 11 and 1 in the NLT. Faith is the confidence that we hope for will actually happen. It gives us assurance about things we can't see. That's what faith does. It gives us the assurance of things that we can't see. But what did the Lord do? When you go to 2nd Ezra, I'm about to go to my other Bible app. It's how you know the Lord knew the times. This is 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, verse 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy. That's another reason how we know all of this is real, because of prophecy. Prophecy is something that's prophesied in the future. It was prophesied that the children of Israel will go to the north country. Yes, you will look in the ancient world, the north country is Babylon or is over here. But future prophecy, the north country would be America. Because when it goes with captivity, the last captivity would be in the north. That would be America, right? The least of them would draw them out. The least, right, really going into the Edomites, the small hats. But then we understand in prophecy, Amalek will have war, or Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. The so-called Amalek is the small hats that call themselves the Juju beings, and they're not, which is the so-called Edomites. They're claiming that they're the people, but they're not. They don't never prophesied about Ephraim. That shows that the Bible is real, because in two accounts, Revelations 2 and 9, 3 and 9, even though they're speaking historically about Israelites, you can use it in the twofold where it's Edomites saying that they're Jews and they're not. That's another example of proving the Bible is real through prophecy. Okay? Verse 2, it says, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Now, technically, when we look in history and information, the first Bible was the Wycliffe Bible, and it was printed in 1455. So the Lord knew the end from the beginning. Isaiah 49 is 46 and 10. He said he declared the end from the beginning. So for us reading in the Bible, the Lord declared this from the beginning. He declared the end from the beginning. Everything, all life cycle, the Lord knew. Just like this. Let's go to another classic that we always bring out that y'all can't get. I'm not here about to force him. I'm going to edify every brother and sister that's in here too, just off of the claim that brother just made. Romans 11 and 7. It says, what then? Israel have not obtained what they seeketh for? All Jake at that time that was following the law, believing in certain wisdom, did they obtain what they were seeking for? No. For, but the election, eklege, right? Eklege, what is that? Divine selection in a strong definition, have obtained it, and the rest were blinded. So those that were predestined or divine selected, they were chosen to obtain this understanding. They were chosen in the end to obtain salvation, because it's all predestined. It's predestined for brothers not to get it, to not believe, and it's predestined for those to get it. It's predestined for a woman to be married to a man of the Lord. It's predestined that some of you women at this moment might not be married to a man of the Lord, but then you might have to go through afflictions, and then eventually you marry to a man of the Lord. All of it is predestined. Just the same as a man and a woman have a child, right? It's predestined. It's all in the hands of the Lord. What does predestined mean? Before known, or before determined, before ordained. Just like he told Jeremiah, I knew you before the womb. Okay? So if you don't get this a year later, 2 years later, you still don't get it. Half of us, the number one reason we don't never apply pressure is because we don't sit down and shut up. Let somebody teach you. Right? It says it in Romans 10. I believe the true name of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi is Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. I don't believe it's God, Jesus, and Lord. When we can prove this with the Bible, you can go into the alphabets of the Hebrew and you like, dang, that makes sense. But if somebody show you the alphabet, show you the ancient Hebrew, and you like, dang, oh, but I see that, but that doesn't make sense. So let me ask another question. You might never get this, right? Let me get this one. This is how you know Jake don't know that they're blessed. They never took the time to want to learn. Oh, the Lord said we shouldn't learn. You know, we shouldn't listen to men. That's right. But you should be listening to men of the Lord. What does that mean if they're men of the Lord? The Rakak Wadash, the Lord is dealing with them. A regular man on the street, how can I know he a man of the Lord? I'm gonna test him. I'm gonna try every spirit by the spirit. First, I'm gonna ask him about prophecy. Who's salvation for? Or Then he starts speaking about God and the Lord. What if he say Jesus the whole time he teaching? I'm gonna have to be like, yo, bro, what's the name of the Father and the Son? Oh, nobody knows the name of the Lord. Then that show me, you know what? I shouldn't even be listening to you. You don't got the name of the Lord. I can't trust you. Okay? This is Isaiah chapter 8, verse 20. I'm going to read in the KJV and NLT. It says, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. In order to make somebody understand what's going on in this Bible, or to prove them, to help them grow and to believe, we have to go to the law and to the testimony. The testimony all leads to Yahawashi. If we don't do this thing, how can I teach you? How are you going to understand? In the NLT, look to the Most High's instructions and teachings. People who contradict his word are completely in the dark. So if you're contradicting his word, you are in the dark. What does contradict mean? Let's look up this word. Contradict means to assert the opposite of a statement, deny the truth of a claim, or to be directly contrary to something. So if I'm saying Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, chosen people, it's only Israel, then I go into scriptures, you deny the truth of the claim that the Most High chosen people is Israel, and then I use evidence from the scriptures. Oh, I don't believe, I need physical proof. Where is the verse in the Bible where the Lord said you need physical proof? That means everything. Where's the verse where you need physical proof that Adam exists? Faith is about of believing, of hope of things not seen. It could be the kingdom and it could be things in the past. Okay? But the Lord gave us the past, the present, and the future in the Bible. Before the truth even came, it's prophecies on the Israelites being in a dead state, and then the breath of life coming to them after 350 years. The Bible speaks on World War I, World War II. Edomites wasn't teaching this. No nation was teaching that the Bible was teaching of World War I, World War II until the Israelites came on the scene. Right? No nation was fully pushing that the word is dealing with all the nations that brought their descendants, which accumulate 18 nations, if we was to be exact. Only Israelites is bringing out the table of nations. Only Israelites. Only Israelites is saying the same nations of old is the nations that's still on the earth. Nobody's bringing that up. Only Israelites. And they're going to the Bible. The whole proof is somebody distinctively dividing the word of truth. Right? Let's get that. 2 Timothy. 2 Timothy chapter 2. In verse 15, study to show thyself approved unto the Most High, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. If you believe that this word is false or fake, any man or any woman, you have to prove it from Genesis to 2 Maccabees, Genesis to Revelation. Nobody done that. Now, somebody can say that they have, but guess what? You can't contradict something that's due to spirits out of your pay rate, because for anybody to fully understand this truth, the Spirit of the Lord has to be dealing with you. So if you can't contradict something you fully have never been a part of, because you have to be spiritual to fully be a part of this word. To fully understand this, the Spirit of the Lord has to dwell with you. Anybody contradicting this word, you don't have the Spirit of the Lord with you. You don't. Then when you turn around, anybody contradicting this, what truth is they teaching out here? It's men out here, their main job is to debunk Hebrew Israelites. But you don't never see them teaching what is salvation. Who is this for? But it's always debunking Hebrew Israelite. How can that be the truth? It's only one-sided. In this truth, we teach the good and the bad, the ugly, the terrible, the great. We teaching about nations. We teaching about grape. We teaching about the marriage of women. It started when a woman was 12 or 14, and there was many reasons for marriage. It wasn't just to bust a nut. It was to pregnate, to have alliance, right? To bring a covenant with family and family coming together. But on this side, we just fucking. On this side, oh, I just want a good man. You're not raising your daughter to be with a man of understanding. The Bible teach you everything in life in a whole. This brother said all religion is the same. There's no religion that's teaching you the dynamics of a man or a woman. What other religion is teaching a woman about her menstrual cycle? What other religion is making a difference between nations? Is not one. Not one. Okay, so I'm gonna just yield with that. I just had to get that out for everybody. Can't people be wrong? Okay, we already read that. Da, 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 da. If God is unable to prevent evil, then he is not Allah. He is not all powerful. If God is not willing to prevent evil, then he is not all good. If God is not both willing and able to prevent evil, then why does evil exist? Okay, but why did God send Jonah to Nineveh? He sent Jonah to Nineveh to shake the hand, to rebuke the wickedness that was in Nineveh because of the Israelites being consumed with the beliefs or wickedness of, the actual heathens of Nineveh. And it was symbolic to what the prophets have to do, prophesied against the wicked kingdoms, right? And I'm going to just show, when you look at Jeremiah 28:8, what does it say? It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesy both against many countries, against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. The same thing that Jeremiah is speaking of in this verse is the same thing Jonah was set up to do. The same thing Yahawashi, the same thing of the apostles, and the same thing of the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists of today. They're prophesying against what? Countries, kingdoms, war, evil, and pestilence, right? Prophesying against nations, right? When you look at the Egyptians, that was a nation. The Babylonians, the Persian Medes, the Greeks, the Romans, there's these European EU and NATO, right? This is a nation. They got to descend from somebody, but it all goes into prophecy. The brother somebody put Galatians 3:38, plain English. There is neither Jew nor Greek, slave nor free, male or female, for you are all one in Yahawah Mashiach. Now, history-wise, why would it say Jew or Greek? I don't know if you know history. All people in the ancient world was not Greeks. Deep down in Africa, everybody was not a Greek. All the way deep down in Japhet, everybody wasn't forced to be Greeks. So who is this speaking about? You would have to go more in details, because nations had their own nationality, their own title and names too. But when it's speaking about Greek, that goes into the influence. Who were Greeks? Because it's saying Jews, right? Dealing with Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. But when it's speaking about Greek, you got to go more deeper, not just one verse. What captivity was before Rome? Because when Paul's speaking to the Galatians, that was in the time of Rome. So what captivity was before? If you know prophecy, the Greek captivity was first. It was before Rome. So what did the Greeks push? In the time of Alexander, and then after Alexander, it got worse in the hands of Antiochus Epiphanes. He forced Greek customs, religion, culture, and the way that we live. So even in 2 Maccabees, the 6th chapter, it said it was a decree that you couldn't even call yourself a Jew, because King Antiochus wanted us all to be one people. So let me show you that. You got to go more in depth. If you can't just if anybody bring out one verse and you can't go in depth and understand Jew or Greek, that's just really speaking about Israelites, right? You got Hebrew speaking Jews and you got Greek Israelites. Timothy father, he was an Israelite, but he was considered a Greek because Timothy father cleaved to the Greek customs, and he was raising Timothy in the Greek customs. But when he started to meet Paul, he got converted and changed his ways. This is why Timothy started calling Paul his father, his spiritual father. Paul started calling Timothy his son, right? Because he had to be converted in the mind. So this is 2 Maccabees chapter 6, verse 1. It says, not long after this king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers and not to live after the laws of the Most High. That's strike one. Verse 6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep the Sabbath days or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. So it's this website called jewishhistory.org. When you go into the Hellenized page on that page, it tells you that Hebrews would pick up all the customs of the Greeks. When the Greeks did gym, and you get the etymology in the Greek, it means naked. So they would do war naked, they would change naked. The Greeks, they were just freaks. So Israelites, we were known in our culture to circumcise. In the Greek custom, you wasn't supposed to be circumcised. He made a decree in 1 Maccabees, the 1st chapter. Certain Israelites, they wanted to be Greek, so they wanted to show that they were Greek. They would sew their foreskin back on. This is in history. So to be a Greek, you had to follow the customs. Now, a lot of y'all want to use Greek for all other nations, right? But when Paul was speaking, he was speaking about Israelites that were scattered into all different lands, because all Israel was not living in Israel. That's why the book of Galatia is towards Israelites that's in Galatia. The book of Thessalonica or Thessalonica was for the Israelites that were living in Thessalonica, right? When you look at Colossians, that's for Israelites that were in Colossia. When you look at Corinthians, that were Israelites that were in Corinth. Paul is speaking to Israelites in those places, just like America. I'm teaching in America has a multitude of nations. But when you start going into this word and it's really directed toward Israelites, regardless if this person looked like an Edomite, they might gravitate what's being brought out and they be like, yo, my family, this and this and that. And then they find out that their grandfather was a Benjamin, right? So you had Jake, even in the ancient world, just like now, that was in other countries, mixed in with other nations. And they probably did not hear this gospel. When Paul going out teaching the gospel, they're like, wait, hold on, you bringing out David? Oh, I remember my family. Hey, da-da-da. He was only, everything that was brought out always was going back to the Torah, to the law, the Psalms, and the prophets. The Torah, the Psalms, and the prophets is only for Israelites. Only for Israelites. When you go into Acts, the 7th to 8th chapter, dealing with Stephen brought up all the history all the way to Yahawashi. That whole thing dealt with Israelites. How can another nation relate to that? That wouldn't make no sense. So when you go into the Jews or the Greeks or female males, this is speaking about Hebrew Israelites, regardless if you're a male, a female, bond or free, right? We're in captivity. Just imagine you got Jake that's out here that's millionaires. This word is for those that are rich and poor, free and bond, right? Those that are Greek-speaking Israelites or American-speaking Israelites, Portuguese Israelites, Italian-speaking Israelites, African Israelites, right? It doesn't matter. We're all what? What did that verse say? For you are all one in Hamashiach Yahawashi. What makes those people even more one in Yahawashi? First and foremost, the nation. What nation did Yahawashi come from? The nation of Israel, from the tribe of Judah. But then, who are the real children of Abraham? Faith. So that's another reason how we are all one in Yahawashi. Faith, and because of the seed. You are a descendant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Plain as day, but we ain't gonna be here too long. Jesus is real, but his real name is Yahawashi, so Jesus is actually an imposter, to be truthfully right. I don't know what he's saying. He said, if you want God to deal with all evil, then, okay, I'm not even listening to you. That does make sense. That doesn't make sense because you believe God is the creator of everything, so that means that before there was anything, there was God. So God made the rules he didn't have to make evil. What? Why would somebody make evil if they don't have to? Oh my goodness. Salaki, y'all. I just gotta deal with this. I just gotta deal with this. Lord willing, I can deal with it. Is it Isaiah 55? Let me see. This might not be the one I want. Okay, gonna bring out 2 verses just for that, and then we gonna move on. That's not the one I want. Is this the one we want? No. Create good and evil. So like y'all, no, this is this. I don't think this is the one we want. Got too many precepts in my head. This Isaiah 5 and 20. That's not the one we want. Salaki, y'all, man. Salaki, family. I'm using my phone, so. Okay, this is Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 7. It says, I form the light, I created darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, Yahawah, do all these things. So let me go to Proverbs chapter 11. Salaki, not that, but Proverbs chapter 11, verse 1. It says, a false balance is abomination to Yahawah, but a just weight is his delight. So the Lord made a righteous balance, good and evil. It was all, it's a natural design. So when you really look at good and evil, it first starts with the left hand of the Heavenly Father. When you look at the left hand, go look up the word sinister. Sinister means left hand or left side. The right hand is the righteousness, which the top angel or the top person is Yahawashi. He's on the right hand side. And when we can go to 1 Kings 22, you can go to Job. All angels on the left hand and right hand side, they go to the Father. Anything that's done on the earth, anything in the spirit world is what the Lord sanctioned. That can happen or can't happen. So any evil that happens in the earth is all because of the Lord's doing. So good and evil, this is a story. So you have spiritual good and evil, and you have the physical good and evil. Now, the evil that's done on the earth, right? Of course, we can look at other nations, and we can look, of course, at Israel as a whole, right? Which might have demons on them. Really, if you're doing evil, you don't have the spirit of the Lord in you. But when you're doing things of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, you have the spirit of the Lord. You have that right-hand side. Now, for us to go, oh, God can't be real if it's evil here or this and this and there. The Lord set this up. He set it up, right? And it was really for the sons of God, right? We were meant to be immortal. We were meant to be one with the Lord, right? This is all a setup. Let me go to this, and I'm going to have to yield because I got to go to the bathroom. This is 2nd Esdras, chapter 9, verse 18. It says, and now when I prepared the world, which was not yet made, even for them to dwell in, that now live, no man spake against me. How can people live if if heaven and earth is not if it's not made? This goes back to Genesis 1, right? God created the heavens and the earth. When you look up that word God, it means Elohim, which is, is a Hebrew word, and it means rulers, divine ones, powers, angels, and gods. So the same spirits that was created after Yahawashi is, of course, we got angels, but then you have the sons of God that are angels too. They play a part in helping Yahawashi make all the things that were made, because it just said in this verse that now when I prepared the world, which was not yet made, even for them to dwell in that now live. So it's spirits that was living before the heaven and earth was made. No man spake against me. No angels are speaking against the Lord. Only humans, only, those that came down to earth, we spoke against them. Why? Verse 19, for then everyone obeyed me. But now the manner of them which are created in this world that is made are corrupt by a perpetual seed. So now these same spirits that was made before the heavens and the earth, they're in the earth and now they disobey him. Right? Because being in this flesh, which is a whole nother lesson. But I'm gonna have to go. I'm sorry, y'all. I might do a part 2, another live. I see so many people saying things. But I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, Bahasham Yahawashi. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of great millstone who rule well, teach well through the spirit, and the mighty shalom to the hopeful elect that are scattered 4 corners of earth, Lord willing, as a whole, that you all continue in sound doctrine. Shalom, shalom. I'll come right back, Lord willing. Shalom, shalom. A Bible ball.